She and I have both been vaccinated, so we're going to do this way. If that improper is that.
I'm afraid you can't hear me unless I take that off. So I've got 11 pages here of names.
Okay, so this is the February 25th, 2021 quarterly legislative meeting of the Citizens of Potawatomi Nation. We'll begin with an invocation. We might vote. I'm going to pray. Mama goes in Kuwa Mishnah Jaya. Grandfather God, watch over everyone. Shiwan Mishnah, have pity on us. Dokum Mishnah, think peacefully of us. We are asking for a good life. Thank you for everything you have created. Jesus. Thank you for giving us your son, Jesus. Deal. Amen. Deal.
Amen.
If we could have the roll call.
Yep.
I'll do
Chairman?
the roll. Yes,
Chairman Barrett,
yes.
I was prepared to do the regular duties unless the vice chairman just wants to.
No, if you want to, that is fine. I didn't know, Dwayne, that if you could do it from there.
Sure.
Yep. I'm set up down here, so everything's a-okay.
Okay, let's
I'd love to see you do the names, but I'll go ahead.
I would do the names. I've read them. Whatever. So
Chairman Barrett,
do where you are.
roll call. So I'm sorry I sprung it on you.
Shoda,
Vice Chairman Capps,
Shoda,
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Shoda, Representative Carney,
Shoda.
Representative Whistler,
Shut up.
Representative Bursall,
Shoda.
Representative Lambert,
Shoda.
Representative Payne,
Shoda.
Representative Johnson,
Shoda.
Representative Carney,
Shoda.
Representative Wesselhoff,
Shut up.
Representative Barrett,
Shut up.
Representative Smelkoffer,
Shoda,
Representative Bowden,
Shoda.
14 present.
who is here?
We have an absent vacant District 1, and we have a vacant District 11.
I got it. Okay. 14 is a quorum. If we could have the minutes for the previous meeting on November the 23rd, 2020, and then the minutes of December the 7th and 9th of 2020. Please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Quarterly legislative meeting minutes, November 23rd, 2020, present, Chairman Barrett, Vice Chairman Capps, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Representatives Bursall, Bowden, Dave Carney, Eva Marie Carney, Johnson, Kraft, Payne, Smittelkoffer, and Whistler. Absent were Representative David Barrett, Jean Lambert, and Paul Wesselhoff. Guests were Jennifer Bell, Greg Quinlan, George Wright, Chris Abel, and Jamie Mocha. Chairman Barrett called the meeting to order at 5:40 p.m., followed by the invocation. First item of business, minutes from the quarterly legislative meeting of September 15th, 2020. Motion to approve the minutes as read was made by Representative Smittelkoffer, seconded by Representative Bursall. Motion passed 12 in favor, 3 absent. Second item of business, minutes from the special legislative session of October 2nd, 2020. Motion to approve the minutes as read was made by Representative Dave Carney, seconded by Representative Whistler. Motion passed 12 in favor, 3 absent. Third item of business, minutes from the special legislative session of October 20, 2020. Motion to approve minutes as read was made by Vice Chairman Capps, seconded by Chairman Barrett. Motion passed 12 in favor, 3 absent. Fourth item of business, resolution 21-21-RNG, a resolution approving the rescheduling of the quarterly meeting of the tribal legislature from Thursday, November 26, 2020 to Monday, November 23rd, 2020. Motion to approve resolution 21-21-RNG was made by Representative Dave Carney, seconded by Representative Smittelkoffer. Motion passed 12 in favor, 3 absent. Fifth item of business, Resolution 2122-E, D, and C, a resolution authorizing the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's Citizen Potawatomi Community Development Corporation proposed 2021 CDFI Grant Assistance Program grant application offered to the United States Department of Treasury CDFI Fund. Motion to approve Resolution 21-22-E, D, and C was made by Representative Whistler, seconded by Representative Bowden. Motion passed, 12 in favor, 3 absent. Sixth item of business, Resolution 21-23-HHS, a resolution authorizing the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's application for funding through the United States Department of Health and Human Services Indian Health Services Administration fiscal year 2021 Community Opioid Intervention Pilot Project. Motion to approve Resolution 21-23-HHS was made by Representative Kraft, seconded by Representative Bursall. Motion passed, 12 in favor, 3 absent. Seventh item of business, Resolution 21-24-HHS, a resolution approving the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's application for funding under the Department of Health and Human Services Indian Health Small Ambulatory Program. Motion to approve Resolution 21-24-HHS was made by Representative Eva Marie Carney, seconded by Representative Bursall. Motion passed, 12 in favor, 3 absent. Eighth item of business, Resolution 21-25-HHS, a resolution approving the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's applications for funding under the Southern Plains Tribal Health Board Tribal Epidemiology Center, Center for the State, Tribal, Local, and Territorial Support, fiscal year 2020 COVID-19 Emergency Response Grants Program. Motion to approve Resolution 21-25-HHS was made by Representative Dave Carney, seconded by Representative Johnson. Motion passed, 12 in favor, 3 absent. Ninth item of business, Resolution 21-26-LCOE, a resolution of enrolling 290 applicants into the membership of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. Motion to approve Resolution 21-26-LCOE was made by Representative Kraft, seconded by Representative Eva Marie Carney. Motion passed, 12 in favor, 3 absent. 10th item of business, adjournment. There being no further business for the tribal legislature, motion to adjourn was made by Representative Goldcoffer, seconded by Representative Whistler. Motion passed, 12 in favor, 3 absent. Meeting adjourned 6:54 p.m.
Any additions, deletions, corrections, or discussion? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as read.
So moved.
Motion made by Representative Bursall, seconded by Representative Spindlecoffer. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Honeygay.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Honeygay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale Konigay, Representative Eva Marie Carney,
Konigay.
Representative Whistler,
Honeygay.
Representative Bursall,
Konigay.
Representative Lambert,
Konigay.
Representative Payne,
Konigay.
Representative Johnson,
Konigay.
Representative Dave Carney,
Konigay.
Representative Wesselhoft,
Honeygay.
Representative Barrett,
Honeygay.
Representative Spindlecoffer,
Honeygay.
Representative Bowden,
Honeygay.
14 in favor, none opposed.
In favor, none opposed, it is approved. Next are the minutes of December 7th to 9th of 2020.
Minutes of the special electronic legislative meeting, December 7th through 9th, 2020. Present, Chairman Barrett, Vice Chairman Capps, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Representatives Barrett, Bursall, Bowden, Dave Carney, Eva Marie Carney, Johnson, Kraft, Lambert, Payne, Spindlecoffer, Wesselhoft, and Whistler. None were absent. Chairman Barrett called the meeting to order at 4:40 p.m. First item of business, Resolution 21-27-LCOE, a resolution enrolling 93 applicants into the membership of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. Motion to approve Resolution 21-27-LCOE was made by Representative Whistler, seconded by Representative Bursall. Motion passed, 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Second item of business, Resolution 21-28-NR, a resolution adopting the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's updated Tribal Transportation Program Transportation Improvement Plan and approving submittal of the plan to the Federal Highway Administration. Motion to approve Resolution 21-28-NR was made by Representative Whistler, second by Representative Bursall. Motion passed 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Third item of business, adjournment. There being no further business for the tribal legislature, motion to adjourn was made by Representative Smiddlecoffer, seconded by Representative Johnson. Motion passed 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Meeting was adjourned at 2:30 p.m. December 9th, 2020.
Are there any additions, deletions, corrections, or discussion? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as read. Motion made by Representative Dave Carney. Is there a second? Representative Mark Johnson. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Honegay.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Honegay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Konigay, Representative Eve Marie Carney,
Honegay.
Representative Whistler,
Honegay.
Representative Bursall, Representative Lambert,
Honegay.
Representative Payne,
Honegay.
Representative Johnson,
Konigay.
Representative Dave Carney,
Konigay.
Representative Wesselhoft,
Honegay.
Representative Barrett,
Honegay.
Representative Smiddlecoffer,
Honegay.
Representative Bowden,
Honegay.
14 in favor, 0 opposed.
14 in favor, 0 opposed. They are approved. Next is ordinance 21-01 RNG ORT4. This is an ordinance amending Title 4, Chapter 1 of the Election Code of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. If you could read that, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Ordinance 21-01-RNG-OR-T4. An ordinance amending Title 4, Chapter 1, Election Code of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation Tribal Code. Whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation is a federally recognized tribe of American Indians with constitutional authority under the Act of June 18, 1934, and the Oklahoma Indian Welfare Act of June 26, 1936. And whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation has sovereign powers that are inherent in tribal traditions, derived from a history of organized self-government since time immemorial, and recognized by treaties with the United States and in the Constitution of the United States. And whereas Article 4, Section 3 of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation Constitution provides for a separation of power of the tribal government by the reservation and delegation of specific powers to other entities of the tribal government, and except for these specific limitations, all other general powers of the government are embodied in the legislature authority to enact legislation, transact business, and otherwise speak and act on behalf of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation in all matters on which the nation is empowered to act now or in the future. And whereas the Tribal Code of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation is a living document and requires updating from time to time, and whereas the amendment of the following regulations governing tribal elections will define and streamline the process of filing for tribal office, and now therefore be it ordained by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that Title 4, Chapter 1, Section 4-1-147 of the Tribal Code of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation be amended to read as follows. Section 4-1-147, the filing period. The filing period for tribal elections shall begin on the second Wednesday of December prior to the next election and end on the second Wednesday of January prior to the next election, unless amended by the tribal legislature prior to this beginning date. A candidate must file by United States Mail, Federal Express, or United Parcel Service, received no later than 5 p.m. on the second Wednesday of January or the end of the new filing period as designated by the legislature. Now therefore being enacted by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that an ordinance amending Title 4, Chapter 1, Section 4-1-147 of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation Tribal Code is hereby approved. Effective date, this ordinance shall become effective upon adoption by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation.
Any discussion?
I would like to say something, Chairman. I think that this is so important. The election ordinance here, this part of it, the filing date and the time. I would like to see this be in the Constitution. And we have other things from time to time that that needs to be in the Constitution. And I think that's one thing that we need to look at. in the future. And we may need to go over the Constitution and see if there's anything else. But I think it might be good for this to be in the Constitution.
Linda, I would also like to see that the publication of this would be about the same time as you file. This was the second Wednesday of December. The candidacy or the position open should be known at that time also. Not like how it was, so if you want to have it early filing, you don't know who, unless you're incumbent. You can't, you expect to, if you're going to run again, you could file at that time, but other people, won't know that.
That's a good idea. Bobby Bowden earlier, in a conversation I had with her over the telephone, she suggested that in those circumstances where someone files for, who is holding office, files for another person's office, that that person who is resigning from office in order to run for another person's office should do that resignation on the first day of the filing period. Then it would give time to give notice to everyone in the tribe that there was a vacancy in addition to the normal spots that are up.
I mean, if they can't run for another legislative position, you're talking about for running for an executive position.
No, Paul can run against you next election.
I can run against David.
Sure, you just have to resign
We
first.
shouldn't have told him.
I mean, if you.
Okay, so that needs to be clarified that you could run against it on another seat. And I can see that if you're moving out, and Oklahoma is at large anyway, but if you're moving into another state or region, then you could run for that position. I can see that, but that was clarity would definitely.
Yeah, we should work on that over the next few months and come up with something.
It would be a courtesy if the person knew that they were going to resign from office, for them to resign early.
Any other discussion of this amendment to the tribal code? Chair would entertain a motion to approve this amendment as read. Motion made by Randy Payne. Representative Payne, seconded by Representative Bersall. A roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Honeygay.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Okay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Konigay, Representative Eva Marie Carney. Representative Whistler,
Okay.
Representative Bersall,
Okay.
Representative Lambert,
Konigay.
Representative Payne,
Konigay.
Representative Johnson,
Konigay.
Representative Dave Carney,
Konigay.
Representative Wesselhoft,
Okay.
Representative Barrett,
Okay.
Representative Smiddlecoffer,
Okay.
Representative Bowden.
Konigay.
14 in favor, 0 opposed.
14 in favor, 0 opposed. It is approved.
Mr. Chairman, are we saying that we are going to look at the improvement on that?
Yeah. Next is a resolution 2129 RNG. You could read that into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Resolution 21-29-RNG, a resolution confirming the appointment of Andrew Walters to fill the open seat of District 11 on the tribal legislature until the next tribal election. First three whereas are the same as read in the previous ordinance. The fourth whereas, the tribal representative for District 11, Lisa Kraft, resigned her seat via letter to the tribal chairman dated January 4th, 2021, in order to run for the office of tribal chairman. And whereas Article 15 of the Constitution of the Sisseton Potawatomi Nation, quote, vacancies, states that, quote, the chairman, subject to the approval of the majority of the remaining members of the legislature, whether or not the number of remaining members would constitute a quorum, shall have the authority to appoint persons to fill any vacancies in any elective office on an interim basis until the next regular election, at which time a person shall be elected to serve the remainder of the unexpired term, end quote. And whereas pursuant to Executive Order 21-02, Tribal Chairman John Barrett has appointed Andrew Walters to the position of Tribal Representative for District 11 to serve until the next tribal election in June 2021, subsequent to legislative confirmation. Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution confirming the appointment of Andrew Walters to serve as tribal legislature for District number 11 until the next tribal election is hereby approved.
Are there any additions, deletions, corrections, or discussion?
I got a question. Why are we exempting a quorum? Never seen that before. Why is that important?
That's in the Constitution.
It is?
Yes.
What was the question?
If a whole bunch of people resigned and we couldn't get a quorum, I could still make the appointments. If 6 or 7 people resign, we could, that's what that's about. Any other questions?
Chairman, I know that you've said in the past that you don't like making appointments. And I have no, and Mr. Waters, I don't want to offend you on what I'm always thinking, and sometimes it may not be proper. But, you know, you've said you really didn't like appointing a position, and then.
No, I said I don't like appointments in contested election positions.
Well, also, Roy Capps, I'm sorry, guys, Roy Slavin, sorry. Roy Slavin had a position open, but you didn't appoint that.
I've had 5 people call me and say they were going to run.
Okay, but anyway.
Because the advantage of incumbency is a huge advantage.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is, why are you wanting to appoint only for one meeting in May? That's the only advantage that he'll be setting in the legislative meeting in May for one meeting that we'll go ahead and do the appointment. He's already elected. You know, I just don't understand that, you know, and I don't have a problem with that. I just don't understand it.
Because he filed and he's going to be seated in June and he should be seated now.
Okay, but if as a new legislator, when there's no incumbent or whatever, they wouldn't be seated until June. You know, when we first ran.
We don't
So
know.
that's where I'm, just don't see the philosophy of it.
Well,
But that's,
you're not the chairman.
no, I'm not. And I'm only asking the chairman to explain it for a simple person.
Any other discussion? Ms. Carney?
I just wanted to say that sitting as a legislator isn't just about attending a meeting. And so I don't know, you know, what all Mr. Walters will be able to do in the next months, but there's opportunities for addressing constituent questions, for providing information, and for, you know, being a conduit to the executive team. So that's my speech.
Good point.
God bless you.
Eva, I don't disagree with you on that. I'm not saying he wouldn't be a valuable asset. I just wanted to know why we're in a hurry.
Is there any other discussion?
Okay.
Chair would entertain a roll call, please. Or Chair would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion made by Representative Whistler. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Representative Spittlekoffer. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Hoonigan.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Honegay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Konigay, Representative Eva Marie Carney,
Honegay.
Representative Whistler,
Okay.
Representative Bursall,
Yeah.
Representative Lambert,
Honegay.
Representative Payne,
Honegay.
Representative Johnson,
Donegay.
Representative Dave Carney,
Honegay.
Representative Wesselhoft,
Horniday.
Representative Barrett,
Okay.
Representative Smittelkofer,
Honegay.
Representative Bowden.
Honegay.
14 in favor, 0 opposed.
14 in favor, 0 opposed. Thank you very much. At this juncture, then we'll do a swearing in. And Mr. Walters will be seated for the balance of the legislative session. Representative Walters will be seated for the balance of the legislative session. I guess I'm gonna take my glasses off for all my face stuff. Remember to take them with you so you can read, right? Good. Yeah, let's go right up here. On the camera where everybody can watch. And there's no denying it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Representative Andy Walters and Cora Walters. Cora. Okay, if you can put your hands on the Bible. I, Andrew Walters,
I, Andrew Walters,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the citizen Potawatomi Nation,
the Constitution and laws of the citizen Potawatomi Nation,
and will exercise the constitutional authority and powers
and will exercise the constitutional authority and powers
of the tribal legislature
of the tribal legislature
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you all.
And if you'll sign that right there. And then this is a copy of the order. Do you have a copy of that?
Not
Is
nearly
that
this
the
fancy.
original? That's what, it's his copy of the original? Okay. Okay. Okay, pick you a spot where you go, they
I
are.
think it's been picked.
Okay, is this also what you're on? Here's a copy, all those nights when you can't sleep. Andy, here's a copy of the Constitution and the Code. We've all memorized this, so.
Yeah, till next meeting to memorize.
Test on Tuesday. Let's see, let me get, I'll write it on here. There's your.
Sword is left, and sharper is right.
That's right. I'm sort of proud of the fact that, and going back through the record, that since we formed this legislature in 2008, that's been going on 13 years, we have only had 7 no votes in the whole.
7 what?
7 no votes in the whole history of the legislature. So that means we try to work it out ahead of time in committee, or we try to work it out, or We do our best to only present legislation that's in the best interest of everyone we can think. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 21-29 RN-30, Education Committee. If you could read that into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
He's on mute, Chairman.
Apologies. Resolution 21-30-ED, a resolution approving the Citizen Pollination's application for funding under the Institute of Museum and Library Services fiscal year 2021 Basic Library Services Program. First three whereas are the same as read in the previous resolution. The fourth whereas, the Citizen Pollination has identified a need for support to maintain core library services and operations. And whereas the Institute of Museum and Library Services Native American Library Services Division has announced the availability of grant funds to assist Native American libraries to maintain core library services and operations. And whereas the Citizen Pollination is eligible for and desires to apply for funding in the amount of $10,000 under the Native American Library Services Basic Grant. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution supporting and approving the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's application for funding through the fiscal year 2021 Institute of Museum and Library Services Native American Library Services Program is hereby approved. Now, therefore, be it further resolved that by act of this resolution and consistent with the separation of powers defined in the Constitution, if awarded, an appropriation of federal funds up to $10,000 from the fiscal year 2021 Institute of Museum and Library Services Native American Library Services Fund or other applicable accounts for the implementation, negotiation, operation, enforcement, procurement, settlement, and or completion of this contract, compact, regulation, or agreement by the tribal chairman or his designate is hereby authorized.
Are there any additions, deletions, corrections, or discussion? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. Motion made by Representative Lambert. Is there a second? Representative Wesselhoff. The second, roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Again.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Honeygan,
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale Konigay, Representative Eva Marie Carney,
Okay.
Representative Whistler,
Okay.
Representative Bersall,
Donaghy,
Representative Lambert,
Okay.
Representative Payne,
Okay.
Representative Johnson,
Donaghy,
Representative Dave Carney,
Donaghy,
Representative Wesselhoff,
Quinnigan,
Representative Barrett,
Donaghy,
Representative Walters,
Donaghy,
Representative Smiddlecoffer,
Quinnigan,
Representative Bowden.
Okay.
15 in favor, 0 opposed.
Uh, 14 in favor, 0 opposed. It is approved.
15, Chairman.
15 in favor, 0 opposed. It is approved. I'll get it in a minute. I'd like to introduce to all of you Mary Chisholm. Mary, if you could come up in front of the camera for us up here. Mary is the Director of Accounting for the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. And for someone who's in charge of $550 million or so, she does a fantastic job. And for the 34th year, the Citizen Potawatomi Nation has received an award from the Government Finance Officers Association for a certificate of achievement for excellence in financial reporting. I want to read this letter from them dated 12/21 of 2020. Dear Mr. Barrett, we're pleased to notify you that your comprehensive annual financial report for the fiscal year ended September 30th, 2019 qualifies for GFOA Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. The Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in governmental accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by a government and its management. When a Certificate of Achievement is awarded to a government, an Award of Financial Reporting Achievement, AFRA, is also presented to the individual or individuals or department designated by the government as primarily responsible for its having earned the certificate. This award has been sent to the submitter as designated on the application. We hope that you will arrange for a formal presentation of the certificate and award of financial reporting achievement, give appropriate publicity to this notable achievement. A sample news release is included to assist with this effort. We hope that your example will encourage other government officials in their efforts to achieve and maintain an appropriate standard of excellence in financial reporting. Signed sincerely, Michelle Mark Levin, Director of Technical Services of the Government Finance Officers Association. And if you could hold that up, Mary. Mary, I apologize for not having my
You're fine.
killer on here.
You're fine. I'm immunized too.
You're both immunized, all right. Well, if you pull your mask down for a little bit, show them your face. But this is Mary, and we
Hello, everybody.
depend a great deal on her, and she's a CPA and a very experienced person and someone we depend a great deal on. Thank you for your
Chairman,
service.
could I
Yes,
say something?
you may.
And Mary got over 50,000 checks out of this facility during the CARES project. And she is to be commended, believe me. It was a very difficult job, and we're so proud of her.
Yeah. 34 years. I'm told by the government finance folks that is the longest period of time that any government in the United States, tribal, municipal, county, or state, has won that award. So we're very proud of the effort that our accounting people put into the reporting function.
Chairman,
Yes,
will we be saying something on this in the Howdicon, I would hope?
yes, we will. Yeah, this will be a feature article here. Next item on the agenda is resolution 2131 ED. If you could read that into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Yes, with your permission, Chairman, I think Representative Dave Carney might have had a comment.
Yes, Representative Carney, yes.
Hi, sorry, I have a lot of noise in the background here. Well, I might have missed this if this was said. Is there an updated report on the COVID funds that's going to be released shortly?
I think that we are going to have a very final report. They've just been putting together some odds and ends. And I would say that we could have it almost at any time, Jennifer, I think.
We were waiting for a few things for accounting and the portal to match up for one, but also the completion of the audit will probably be in there as well, since that's good news for the program. So it will be shortly.
It will be shortly.
As soon as we complete the audit, Dave, should be shortly, within a matter of days.
I would say it's going to be another month
Take a month.
before we get everything put together.
We should have a final report, including an audit, in a month.
Okay, and that would be something, of course, we could share with our constituents.
Absolutely.
Okay, great, wonderful, thank you.
Very proudly share with our constituents.
Yes.
Ms. Carney?
follow-up to that, Mr. Chairman. To the extent that there is a separate report with respect to expenditure of the CARES Act funds for our internal purposes or government purposes, I would ask that at least the legislature be given a copy of that. I know there might be issues with making it more broadly disseminated, but I would like to see that, and I think others would as well.
Absolutely, that'll be done.
Single audit on that. We do have a single audit on that can be shared.
Can't understand
We do have a single audit on that can be
you.
shared.
We have a single
Whenever
audit
it's
on
complete.
it, and we'll send that out just immediately. As soon as we
May I
get it.
ask, what is a single audit?
Well, a single audit is an audit for a single program. Usually, like we have our audit for our tribe, there's lots of programs in it. But if we have a single audit, just like we do with the rural water district, we have to have a single audit for that. It's pretty important when you have a single audit. So
Yeah.
we have, that was one of Treasury's requirements, that we have a single audit.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Look forward to seeing it.
Are there any other questions? Okay, if we could read that resolution, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Resolution 21-31-ED, a resolution approving the Assistant Polynesian Nation's application for funding under the United States Department of Education's Office of Career, Technical, and Adult Education's fiscal year 2021 Native American Career and Technical Education Program. First three whereas are the same as read in the previous resolution. The fourth whereas, the United States Department of Education's Office of Career, Technical, and Adult Education has allocated fiscal year 2021 funds and is soliciting grant applications for its Native American Career and Technical Education Program to help create or expand opportunities for individuals to obtain recognized post-secondary credentials in science, technology, engineering, mathematics, or computer science. And whereas the Assistant Potawatomi Nation proposes submitting an application to fund a coordinated effort to help create or expand opportunities for individuals to obtain recognized post-secondary credentials in science, technology, engineering, mathematics, or computer science. And whereas the proposed project is for a 5-year period with a total estimated cost of up to $500,000 per year with no matching funds required. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the legislature of the Assistant Potawatomi Nation that a resolution supporting the Assistant Potawatomi Nation's application for funding to the United States Department of Education Office of Career, Technical, and Adult Educational fiscal year 2021 Native American Career and Technical Education Program is hereby approved. Now, therefore, be it further resolved that by act of this resolution and consistent with the separation of powers defined in the Constitution, if awarded, an appropriation of federal funds up to $2.5 million from the fiscal year 2021 DOED Native American Career and Technical Education Program Fund for the implementation, negotiation, operation, enforcement, procurement, settlement, and or completion of this contract, compact, regulation, or agreement by the tribal chairman or his designate is hereby authorized.
Any discussions, additions, deletions, corrections? Representative Eva Marie Carney.
I just had a question. Are these funds that are going to be available to offset our costs of paying scholarships?
No, these are in addition to, we've been reading, I've been reading on the internet, and we've gotten the word that the new administration is going to be putting a tremendous amount of money back into the education funds that were stricken during the previous administration, and making up some slack for what was not spent. So we contemplate our education department and the education committee of the legislature will probably be dealing with at least another $10 to $15 million on top of our existing budget.
May I say something?
Yes.
These are funds that are set aside for vocational education and career tech and for adult education, besides our scholarships that we usually give. And this department does a real good job of that also. That is in Carol Clay, Margaret Zintek's department. vocational.
I was thinking of it completely wrong, and that's fantastic. That's gonna be great. Thank you.
Sorry. Eva, I'm sorry.
Oh, my comment was that I was sorting it completely incorrectly in my mind as being for college student scholarships. I missed entirely the point that this is career and technical education, and I appreciated Mrs. Capps clarifying that for me. Thank you.
Chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read.
So moved.
Motion made by Representative David Barrett, seconded by Representative Paul Wesselhoff. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Tony Gay.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Tony Guy,
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Konigay, Representative Eva Marie Carney,
Again,
Representative Whistler,
Okay.
Representative Bursall,
Conagay.
Representative Lambert,
Again,
Representative Payne,
Konagay.
Representative Johnson,
Conagay.
Representative Dave Carney,
Winiga,
Representative Wesselhoff,
Conagay.
Representative Barrett,
Conagay.
Representative Walters,
Konigay.
Representative Smiddlecoffer,
Conagay.
Representative Bowden,
Honegay.
15 in favor, 0 opposed.
15 in favor, 0 opposed. It is approved. Next is Resolution 2132 HHS. You can read that into the record, please. Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Resolution 21-32-HHS, a resolution approving the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's application for supplemental funding under the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security CARES Act funding. First three whereas, same as read in the previous resolution. The fourth whereas, the United States Congress appropriated funding to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention under the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act to support tribal public health emergency response to COVID-19 through a non-competitive grant supporting tribal public health capacity in coronavirus preparedness and response. And whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation was awarded a total of $489,881 in 2020 by the CDC under this non-competitive grant to carry out public health emergency response activities in response to COVID-19. And whereas the CDC has announced supplemental funds in the amount of $50,000 per recipient available to current recipients of the grant to augment or expand activities to support tribal public health emergency response to COVID-19 for a project period of just over 1 year from April 12, 2021 through June 9, 2022. And whereas the original award was restricted to public health emergency response activities, and the Citizen Potawatomi Nation recognizes the need to similarly use the supplemental funds of $50,000 to expand mitigation and emergency response activities in response to COVID-19. Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution supporting the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's application for supplemental funding under the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act funding is hereby approved. Now therefore be it further resolved that by act of this resolution and consistent with the separation of powers defined in the Constitution, if awarded an appropriation of federal funds up to $50,000 from the CDC CARES Fund for the implementation, negotiation, operation, enforcement, procurement, settlement, and or completion of this contract, compact, regulation, or agreement by the tribal chairman or his designate is hereby authorized.
Any additions, deletions, corrections, or discussion? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. Motion made by Representative Bursall, seconded by Representative Eva Marie Carney. I'm sorry, Bob, I'll get you next.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Honegay.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Tony Guy,
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Konigay, Representative Eva Marie Carney, Representative Whistler,
Okay.
Representative Bursall,
Conagay.
Representative Lambert,
Again,
Representative Payne,
Konigay.
Representative Johnson,
Konigay.
Representative Dave Carney,
Konigay.
Representative Wesselhoft,
Konigay.
Representative Barrett,
Okay.
Representative Walters,
Konigay.
Representative Smittelkofer,
Konigay.
Representative Bowden,
Konigay.
15 in favor, 0 opposed.
15 in favor, 0 opposed. It is approved. Next is Resolution 2133 HHS. You read that into the record, please. Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Resolution 21-33-HHS.
I better vote on the other one, hadn't we? Please
No,
vote.
you just did. You're good. 15 in favor, 0 opposed.
My bad.
Well, I went with it.
I try to go out of town one time. Resolution 21-33-HHS, a resolution approving the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's application for funding under the United States Treasury Emergency Rental Assistance Program. First three whereas are the same as read in previous resolution. Fourth whereas, United States Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021 required the United States Treasury to distribute funds to tribes for an emergency rental assistance program to assist low-income Native Americans with rent and utility assistance. And whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation proposes to operate a low-income emergency rental and utility assistance program for tribal members. And whereas the proposed project is for the period ending December 31st, 2021, with $3,100,449.51 received via formula distribution with no matching funds required. Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution supporting the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's application for funding under the United States Treasury Emergency Rental Assistance Program is hereby approved. Now therefore be it further resolved that by act of this resolution and consistent with the separation of powers defined in the Constitution, if awarded an appropriation of federal funds up to $3,100,449.51 from the fiscal year 2021 low-income emergency rental and utility assistance grant program fund for the implementation, negotiation, operation, enforcement, procurement, settlement, and or completion of this contract, compact, regulation, or agreement by the tribal's chairman or his designate is hereby authorized.
This is a lot of money, but it ends December 31st of 2021. That's going to be very, George, Wright, if you could give us some explanation.
Yeah, I've got a little presentation on it just briefly.
Oh, please do.
Hello, everybody. All right. Can I just green click it or the screen clicker is not working? Do it on touch.
You want me to touch it here to make it flip?
That'll work too. Yeah, okay. So just wanted to kind of clue everybody in about this new program. The first thing I want to say is this is not CARES. This is a much smaller, narrower, more targeted program that has to do with rental assistance and utility assistance for tribal members that are of a certain low income. So slide real quick. Thank you, Chairman. This is part of a larger bill. It was a $25 billion fund that went to every state, local, tribal government. We received about roughly $3 million at the end of January with a whole bunch of rules about what we can do with that money. So slide. There we go. So the mountaintops here are that this provides what I just said, rental assistance and utility assistance for tribal members who have experienced some kind of loss related to COVID-19. So what does that mean exactly? This is fun. Okay, so the first qualification is that the household has to have an income that is at 80% or less from the HUD area median income. That's a federal database where they calculate household income based on the location of the household and the size of the household. So it's going to vary widely. I know, each of you has districts that are going to be located in different parts of the country, but even in localized parts of the country, some counties have a higher median income, some have lower. I put a couple of numbers there to give you a general idea for what that is. And remember, again, that's the household, not an individual income. So more people in the household, the higher the number, the more poverty in an area, the lower the number generally. And the second qualification is that someone in the household has to be a tribal member. The third is that the household has to be renting their residence. So this can't go for any kind of mortgage assistance or anything, even if people are in dire straits in their mortgage. And then here's the key, that someone in the household has either experienced a job loss, which is defined as being eligible for unemployment. Someone in the household has experienced a reduction of income or financial hardship related to COVID-19, or the household can show that it's facing eviction or a risk of homelessness. So this is a pretty narrow subset of our tribal membership. Next slide. Oh, we went backwards. All right. Went the wrong way. There we go. Okay. But here's the good news for folks that do qualify. They can receive up to 12 months worth of rent and utilities if they can show that they qualify. Although they do have to apply every 3 months. They don't get a prospective award of 12 months, but if they can continue to show that they have the need and they qualify, they can come back and reapply. They do not have to be behind on their rent or their utilities if they show they have that hardship or the job loss or the risk of homelessness. But if they do have an arrearage, if they owe money, that has got to be paid before any prospective payment can be made. The third thing to note is that these dollars are not going to the individual tribal member. They're going to go to the landlord or the utility company with whom that tribal member has a contractual relationship. And then finally, we're required to give a priority to folks that are truly in the low income category at 50% or less than the HUD area median income. There we go. Oh, back one, Chairman, sorry. What are our requirements internally? We have to create an application process that ensures that only eligible recipients receive aid. So we're going to have to work through these applications to make sure that people are demonstrating that they meet the criteria established by the feds. We have already prepared some draft applications. We have a skeleton of an online portal that's going to be similar to CARES, not identical to CARES, but in the ballpark. We also have to gather a whole bunch of data from every applicant. They're very specific about this long list of data we have to gather. So that's another reason why we have to be a little bit pedantic about our application process here. And then of course we have to, as we did with CARES, account to Treasury for our usage of the funds. And there's the possibility of recoupment, of taking back funds that if we don't spend them according to the rules, they can be recouped. The tribe can be on the hook. Finally, there are two possible recoupment dates. One is at the end of September. The rules say they're going to look, and if recipient or governments have not already got enough of the fund out the door, there's a possibility Treasury might take some of those funds back and give it to another government. Whether they do that or not, we'll see in September. And then finally, we have to try to get it all spent by the end of the calendar year. Yet we can only spend 10% of the fund on our own administrative costs. So we're in a pretty narrow stanchion here. Slide, please. I'll try to remember what I put on that slide. There you go. Okay. Our goal is to try to get this program rolled out by March 10th. So if anyone begins asking you about it, your constituents begin asking you about it, it won't be up and available for applications earlier than March 10th. However, when it's nationwide, this is nationwide, anywhere in the United States. Applications will be able to, like I said, be made online. We'll also have paper applications that can be mailed in or dropped off at admin. And we're going to have a call center to assist applicants who need to call in and get a little help understanding how to properly apply. Just think CARES, kind of a similar deal. We're going to notify tribal membership through publication in Hanacon, notification on the website, and on relevant social media pages. We have also kind of proactively taken a step to try to identify larger volume landlords in our area that might house some of our tribal membership that might be eligible for some of this aid. Specifically, our own housing department, we're allowed to use some of these funds to cover the housing costs of our own tenants if they otherwise qualify. We'll still have to help them apply, but that's good. I left this out, but landlords can actually help their tenants apply for this. We've reached out, Chairman's direction to the Absentee Shawnee Housing Authority because a lot of Potawatomi are tenants of that housing authority. And we've gotten a list of some likely candidates in the hopes that some of them will apply for these funds. But as you spread the word among your various constituencies, it might be good to identify not just tribal members who are tenants, but try to think about maybe there are landlords that house a lot of our members that are in this income strata. And it might be a boon to a landlord to be able to make this application on behalf of several tenants, because ultimately the money is going to inure to the benefit of, yes, the tenant, but it'll go in the landlord's pocket. So questions?
Yes.
Wow. I looked at Representative Whistler first. I'm sorry.
Did the government set the rules on this, for example, that they couldn't be in arrears? My concern is that some of the people that are, I'm sure that are in my district that really need the money, they're in arrears. They have no money. It literally makes them ineligible for this.
No, sir. I'm sorry. If you misunderstood me. They can be in arrears, and that arrears can date back all the way to March of last year. So we can assist
Okay, so
them.
these funds can be used to take care of arrears rent.
Mhm.
Okay, that was my question.
Yes.
Because the way I read it.
Just going in
Okay,
order.
this is just strictly housing, not a tribal member that has restaurants and stuff that they rent. It's just strictly,
Residential rent and
Okay.
utilities for your residential household. So only one renter.
If an applicant is getting either unemployment relief checks or they have gotten a benefit from the CARES Act, does that disqualify the applicant?
So they have to show that there's no double counting, there's no double dipping, they're not being aided with their housing or their utility expenses through some other source. But merely receiving unemployment benefits is not going to be a disqualification or anything else. And I think, really, so long as they're not getting aid that's targeted to their rent or their utilities, just like undifferentiated aid, like a stimulus payment or unemployment benefits, that's not going to disqualify a person from being eligible for this aid if they're otherwise eligible.
Nor would them getting the CARES Act from last year.
No, it
That
would
would
not.
not
That's what I was
disqualify.
asking.
So, yeah, they could do that. That is already gone, I imagine, if they've gotten the CARES Act.
Questions from the video bank?
Any other questions?
No.
I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
Jennifer, can we send out this slide to our people, to our legislators?
George, did you?
Well, and are we going to put together basically an answers packet for our legislators if tribal members call them so they can respond?
Okay, we have one.
Yeah, we-
Going already.
Yeah, we do. We can
Okay,
circulate that as
I
well.
think we ought to, let's equip everyone in the legislature to answer the questions and steer them towards the funding source.
And when, I just want to say the guidelines on this is the same as HUD. We're using HUD guidelines. And those guidelines are for each state,
Take your mask off.
those guidelines are for each state, for each county, for each city, for each county. So everybody will have different guidelines, and our people who are doing the reviewing of these, they will have access to that. And I wanted to have an example, but there's going to be so many examples because the states. So if you can look that up, though, you can go to HUD.gov and look up what the guidelines are for income.
Okay, Ms. Carney?
I less of a legal question and more of a promulgation question. So the rollout was going to be on March 10th. Does that mean this will not be in the March CountyCon? Are we going to wait until April to put this information into the paper?
This is a Jennifer question and she's answering. Hold on.
Eva, if you can hear me from this corner,
Sure.
we plan to put it in the March CountyCon and just note that the applications will open on the 10th.
That's great. Thank you.
But hopefully the information will be on the Facebook website, on the Facebook government CPN. Okay.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jordan.
Okay, Chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read.
So moved.
Motion made by Representative Whistler. Is there a second? Representative Lambert. Please.
Chairman Barrett,
Honegay.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Okay,
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Koenig, Representative Eve Marie Carney, Representative Whistler,
Okay.
Representative Bursaw,
Donaghy.
Representative Lambert,
Honegay.
Representative Payne,
Koenig.
Representative Johnson,
Donaghy.
Representative Dave Carney,
Honegay.
Representative Wesselhoff,
Donaghy.
Representative Barrett,
Okay,
Representative Walters,
Koenig.
Representative Smiddlecoffer,
Honegay.
Representative Bowden,
Honegay.
15 in favor, 0 opposed.
15 in favor, 0 opposed. It is approved. Next. Supposed to have been silent, sorry. I'll get that for you. Next is resolution 2134, Judiciary and Public Safety. You can read that in, please.
Resolution 21-34-J and PS, a resolution approving the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's application for funding under the United States Department of Justice's fiscal year 2021 Coordinated Tribal Assistance Solicitation CTAS program. First three, whereas, the same as read in the previous resolution. Fourth, whereas, the Citizen Potawatomi Nation has identified a need for increased law enforcement vehicles, equipment, and supplies. And whereas the United States Department of Justice Coordinated Tribal Assistance Solicitation has announced the availability of grant funds to improve tribal law enforcement and justice systems, with the stipulation that these funds are available for a variety of specified purposes as outlined in purpose areas. And whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation is eligible for and desires to apply for funding under Purpose Area 1, Public Safety and Community Policing, and whereas under Purpose Area 1, Citizen Potawatomi Nation is proposing the purchase of vehicles, equipment, and supplies for the Tribal Police Department with an estimated 3-year project cost of up to $900,000. And now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution supporting the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's application for funding under the United States Department of Justice's fiscal year 2021 Coordinated Tribal Assistance Solicitation Program is hereby approved. Now therefore be it further resolved that by act of this resolution and consistent with the separation of powers defined in the Constitution, if awarded an appropriation of federal funds up to $900,000 from the fiscal year 21 DOJ CTAS COPS Fund or other applicable account for the implementation, negotiation, operation, enforcement, procurement, settlement, and or completion of this contract, compact, regulation, or agreement by the tribal chairman or his designate is hereby authorized.
Any additions, deletions, corrections, or discussion? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read.
I'll move it.
Motion made by Representative Bowden, seconded by Representative Barrett. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Honegay.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Honegay,
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Koenig, Representative Eve Marie Carney,
Okay.
Representative Whistler,
Koenig.
Representative Bursaw,
Donaghy.
Representative Lambert,
Honegay.
Representative Payne,
Koenig.
Representative Johnson,
Donaghy.
Representative Dave Carney,
Honegay.
Representative Wesselhoff,
Donaghy.
Representative Barrett, Representative Walters,
Koenig.
Representative Smiddlecoffer,
Honegay.
Representative Bowden,
Honegay.
15 in favor, 0 opposed.
15 in favor, 0 opposed. It is approved. Next is resolution 21.
35.
2135 J and PS.
Resolution 21-35-J and PS, A resolution confirming the nominees for tribal judicial office, subject to electoral confirmation by the general council. First three whereas are the same as read in previous resolution. A fourth whereas, the tribal chairman, in his capacity as chief executive officer of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation, hereby nominates the following individuals to continue their respective tribal judicial office under Article 11, Section 4 of the Constitution of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. Justices of the Supreme Court. Supreme Court Justice number 3, the nominee is Robert Coffey for a term of 6 years, expiring June 2027. Supreme Court Justice number 7, the nominee is Roy Tucker for a term of 6 years, expiring in June 2027. Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution confirming the nominees for a tribal judicial office, subject to the electoral confirmation by the general council, is hereby approved.
Any additions, deletions, corrections, or discussion? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. So moved. Representative Walters, seconded by, who's I hear, Representative Spillicoff? Yes, sir. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Honeygay.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Honeygay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Konigay, Representative Eve Marie Carney,
Honeygay.
Representative Whistler,
Okay.
Representative Bursall,
Konigay.
Representative Lambert,
Honeygay.
Representative Payne,
Konigay.
Representative Johnson,
Konigay.
Representative Dave Carney,
Konigay.
Representative Wesselhoft,
Konigay.
Representative Barrett,
Okay.
Representative Walters,
Konigay.
Representative Smiddelkoffer,
Konigay.
Representative Bowden,
Koenig.
15 in favor, 0 opposed.
15 in favor, 0 opposed. It is approved. Does anyone know if Roy Tucker is still the city manager at Muskogee? You what?
I believe he is.
He still is?
The email came back with Muskogee.
Okay,
Suffix on it.
okay, good. Next is Resolution 2136, TCNA. You could read that into the record, please. Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Resolution 21-36-TCNA, a resolution approving the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's application for funding under the National Park Service's fiscal year 2021 Tribal Historic Preservation Office Grant Program. First three whereas are the same as read in the previous resolution. A fourth whereas, the Citizen Potawatomi Nation has identified a need for continued development and operation of historic preservation duties on tribal lands. And whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation signed an agreement with the National Park Service on July 25th, 2007 to assume historic preservation duties on tribal lands that were previously the responsibility of the state. And whereas the National Park Service Tribal Historic Preservation Offices Division has announced the availability of grant funds to assist with review and compliance, survey and inventory of tribal lands and public education of historic preservation. And whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation is eligible for and desires to apply for funding in the amount of $66,402 under the Tribal Historic Preservation Office Grant. Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution supporting the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's application for funding through the fiscal year 2021 National Park Service Tribal Historic Preservation Office Program is hereby approved. Now therefore be it further resolved that by act of this resolution and consistent with the separation of powers defined in the Constitution, if awarded, an appropriation of federal funds up to $66,402 from the fiscal year 2021 National Park Service's Tribal Historic Preservation Office Fund or other applicable account for the implementation and negotiation, operation, enforcement, procurement, settlement, and or completion of this contract, compact, regulation, or agreement by the tribal chairman or his designate is hereby authorized.
This is a memorable piece of legislation here. In 2009, I spent 4 trips to Washington, D.C., trying to convince the Department of the Interior that the state of Oklahoma's historical preservation officer should not have jurisdiction over the historic sites on Potawatomi Trust land that our historic preservation officer and department should have. And the Department of the Interior refused to do that. We sued and filed protests with several divisions of the government and also lobbied pretty hard in the Congress. But no one wanted to take on the Department of the Interior, who were violating their own Indian Self-Determination Act provisions in the way the National Park Service was conducted. The National Park Service was absolutely dead set that the state, the SHPA, the State Historical Preservation Officer, had jurisdiction over Indian trust lands and historic sites. So here we are 11 years later, and someone up there has come to their senses. I almost can't believe that there's not a hook to it, but I'm really glad to see it happen. This was not only a violation of the Indian Self-Determination Act, it was a violation of almost every federal policy that the Department of the Interior had at the time. But the National Park Service considers itself independent from the rest of the Department of the Interior. So pretty tough to deal with. Chairman, entertain a motion. No, is there any other discussion?
I have a question, Chairman.
Representative Whisper.
If the funds were needed, could they be used to help out Rossville, since we have land up there? Or is it specifically directed only to Oklahoma?
I'm pretty sure it has to be in trust.
Okay, I was just curious, because I was just thinking about, we have land there too, as well as here.
Right, we had a notice come through just in fact yesterday that they were going to do some type of construction activity in Des Plaines, Illinois. And we have some major historical sites in that area.
Right.
And some cemeteries and some other things. And I notified our TIPA to be a part of that. And I'll have her inquire whether or not our off-reservation sites can use this money. Because the first thing I thought of was the restoration work that needs to be done at the Uniontown Cemetery. What's funny? Go ahead.
The quick status on that is Dr. Snyder from the University of Kansas is on a hold waiting for a new piece of equipment to come in and also better weather. And we will continue with our survey of the cemetery.
Are they using that below the surface radar thing to try to find where the bodies are?
It will identify primarily disturbed soil. In other words, that there was digging in a particular area. It won't necessarily identify, unless it's closer to the surface, an actual skull or bones, that type of thing.
Okay.
She's positive, I don't think the numbers are there that historically has been passed down, but there is something in there, so.
Is there any other discussion?
It just makes me think of something. I wonder if everybody realizes that we do not have our land in Kansas in trust. We tried and tried numerous times, and John helped with that. But we never were able to get our land in trust in Kansas, even though it was former reservation. So I think maybe not everybody's aware of that.
Well, they were all afraid that we were going to open a casino, so.
Or a bank branch.
Or a bank branch, yeah, or a grocery store or something. Ms. Carney?
I just had a question as to whether is the battle over? Are we not able to continue fighting, or?
Well, there have been some Brownback's gone, so that may change things. Who's the Secretary of State up there, John?
I don't know who it is, since the last election.
Have the politics gone north or south?
I think he is a Republican, as I recall.
Well, everybody in Kansas is, but
Oh, not the governor isn't.
really?
Right, no, Governor Kelly is a female.
And she's a Democrat?
She's a Democrat.
We had an advocate for us there for a long time, Shelley. And what's her position now?
Shelley Bueller, she is the principal of the Catholic high school here in Topeka, or the Catholic schools. She's not, well, I think principal, she is like the senior person, and they got quite a hierarchy, but she is the senior CEO, you might say, of the Catholic schools.
But she's out of politics.
She's out of
So
politics. She
She
also
was
had,
our advocate in politics there.
yes, but she also had a very serious bout with COVID. So I have not seen her, talk to her in several months now. So
We should take another shot, I think, at getting Rossville in trust and the cemetery at Uniontown and go at that again. Because I think we could probably get the support of the Prairie Potawatomis, couldn't we?
yes, I will not guarantee that, sir. But yeah, they are cooperative if there's something to their advantage as well. So that's the best I can
We'll sign an agreement that there won't be any casino and
say. That's right. That's right.
we'll give them some money or something. But it would sure be nice to get that into trust. We paid a lot of money out in taxes on that complex.
Definitely.
Any other discussion? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read.
So moved.
Motion made by Representative Wesselhoff. Is there a second? Representative Johnson. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Honeygay.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Okay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Konigay, Representative Eva Marie Carney,
Honegay.
Representative Whistler,
Honegay.
Representative Bursall,
Konigay,
Representative Lambert,
Honegay.
Representative Payne,
Honegay.
Representative Johnson,
Honegay.
Representative Dave Carney,
Sorry, Konigay.
Representative Wesselhoff,
Honegay.
Representative Barrett,
Konigay.
Representative Walters,
Konigay.
Representative Smiddlecoffer,
Honeygay.
Representative Bowden,
Honegay.
15 in favor, 0 opposed.
15 in favor, 0 opposed. It is approved. Next is Resolution 2137, Natural Resources. You can read that into the record, please.
Resolution 21-37-NR, a resolution approving a fee to trust acquisition application to the Bureau of Indian Affairs and a request for trust acquisition of the non-gaming on-reservation Hardesty Grocery property. First three whereas are the same as read in the previous resolution. The fourth whereas, the Citizen Potawatomi Nation is making application to the Southern Plains Regional Office of the Bureau of Indian Affairs to request transfer of fee simple title to the United States of America in trust for the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. And whereas the legislature believes that increasing the tribal land base furthers the pursuit of tribal self-determination and allows future generations of tribal leaders to have the flexibility to use the land for the health, welfare, and sovereignty of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. And whereas Section 5 of the Indian Reorganization Act of June 18, 1934 provides authority for the fee to trust acquisition. And whereas the property is on reservation or within former reservation boundaries of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation, legally described in Attachment A and listed in the Potawatomi County Treasurer's records as parcel ID number 0000-30-30-004-007-0 and parcel ID number 0000-30-010-004-0-027 2021-00 Hardesty Grocery. And whereas the property was purchased with tribal funds for non-gaming use and the land to which the Citizen Following Nation owns surface rights in fee simple is not currently under lease. And whereas the current and proposed land use is economic development, tribal self-determination, and increasing the tribal land base, which furthers the pursuit of tribal self-determination and allows future generations of tribal leaders to have the flexibility to use land for the health, welfare, and sovereignty of the Citizen Following Nation. And whereas there are improvements with ingress and egress for adequate traffic services, and whereas the Citizen Following Nation agrees to indemnify and hold harmless the United States, its agents, and employees against any lawsuits, loss, expense, and claim potentially filed against the tribe for any damages relating to asbestos and lead-based paint, if any, associated with the improvements located on the property described in Attachment A. Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Following Nation that a resolution supporting the fee to trust acquisition application to the Southern Plains Regional Office of the Bureau of Indian Affairs and trust acquisition of Hardesty Grocery property is hereby approved.
Any discussion, Mr. Persall?
How did you pull that one off? I didn't think he would ever sell.
Well, Linda did it. I wasn't able to. I stayed away. That's how it happened.
Yeah, they have been upset with the tribe. And anyway, it came about, you know, the owner, the longtime owner passed away.
Oh, okay.
The longtime owner passed away, how many years ago did Frank die? About 2 to 3 years ago. And so that was the main reason, I believe. But everybody understands how important that corner is to us. Yeah. It's right in the middle of everything that we own. It's the only piece that we did not have. And so we're really proud to get it. And
what are we going to do with the property?
Well, when we widen Hardesty to 5 lanes, the parking lot's going to go away.
But we own the land behind it and to the side, so it's a great corner. We could do a lot with it.
Is the storage tank still there, Chairman?
No, the state took it out.
So we have no plans to build any enterprise?
No, not right now. And probably we've got some storage that we need for PPE, and we have some food to distribute. We're going to do that. We've got another load from Feed the Children. And as soon as it gets cleaned up a little inside, we're going to do that for right now. And maybe we can help some people with COVID during this time with Feed the Children. We get some pretty good product from them. We had to quit taking it because we really didn't have a good place to accept it. So we'll have to take the fence down because we'll have to use some of that behind it for parking. But anyway, it's a really good deal for the tribe. Excellent.
So they have a large refrigerated area in that store?
Yes.
I've never been in there.
They have several refrigerated areas in the wall. There's several, more than I thought there would be.
They was known for their meat.
And their deer processing.
So any other discussion? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. Motion made by Representative Eva Marie Carney. Is there a second? Representative Walters. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Honeygate.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Okay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Conegay, Representative Eve Marie Carney, Representative Whistler,
Honeygate.
Representative Bersall,
Conagay,
Representative Lambert,
Honegay.
Representative Payne,
Did we lose Randy?
one more time, Randy.
Conagay.
Thanks, sir. Representative Johnson,
Conagay,
Representative Dave Carney,
Honegay.
Representative Wesselhoff,
Honeygate.
Representative Barrett,
Honeygate.
Representative Walters,
Conagay,
Representative Smiddlecoffer,
Honeygate.
Representative Bowden,
Honegay.
15 in favor, 0 opposed.
15 in favor, 0 opposed. It is approved. Next is Resolution 2138, Legislative Committee on Enrollment. You can read that into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Resolution 21-38-LCOE, a resolution acknowledging the voluntary relinquishment of Joanne Ray Beller. First three, whereas, the same as read in previous resolution. Fourth, whereas, Joanne Ray Beller, 89RD112845, has through formal request submitted her voluntary relinquishment with the Citizen Potawatomi Nation under Title II, Chapter 1, Section 2-1-1D of the membership ordinance of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. And whereas Joanne Ray Beller states and attests to the fact that she is applying for membership with the Otoe Missouri tribe, and whereas Joanne Ray Beller has voluntarily relinquished her tribal membership in the Citizen Potawatomi Nation and may not reapply for membership in accordance with the membership ordinance of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation, Section 2-1-1A. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution to acknowledge the voluntary relinquishment of Joanne Ray Beller from the Citizen Potawatomi Nation in compliance with Section 2-1-1D of the membership ordinance of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation referendum enacted February 2nd, 2008 is hereby approved.
Obvious that the two witnesses are the same signature. Any additions, deletions, corrections, or discussion? Chair will entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. Hello. Motion made by Representative Whistler. Is there a second? Representative Payne. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Montague.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Montague.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale Koenig. Representative Eve Marie Carney. Representative Whistler.
Montague.
Representative Bersall.
Donaghy,
Representative Lambert.
Montague.
Representative Payne.
Montague.
Representative Johnson.
Montague.
Representative Dave Carney.
Montague.
Representative Westphal.
Montague.
Representative Barrett.
Montague.
Representative Walters.
Montague.
Representative Spindlecoffer.
Montague.
Representative Bowden.
Montague.
15 in favor, 0 opposed.
15 in favor, 0 opposed. It is approved. Next is Resolution 2139, Legislative Committee on Enrollment. And that is Abdel Radi Abdel Nabi.
Thank you. I actually scanned that one. Resolution 21-39-LCOE, a resolution of enrollment into the membership of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. First three, whereas, are the same as read in previous resolution. The fourth, whereas, the following people have requested enrollment in the tribe and meet the requirements for membership as set forth in Article 3 of the Constitution of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. Crew Calais Malcolm Mihal, Jew Hayden Kellogg, Elijah Alexander Kellogg, Cooper Wynn Elms, Camden K. Elms, Anthony Daniel Porras, Cole Reynolds Roman, Gemma Graciela Roman, Carries Gray Roman, Daniel Scott Dryman, Zayden Cruz McManus, Emerson Blake McManus, Cindy Joanne Alford, Kelsey Deanne Sanders, Chloe Leanne Sanders, Logan Dwayne Moses, Mackenzie Dawn Moses, Maddie Lynn Moses, Claire Renee Ayers, Helen Jane Ayers, Richard Allen Ayers, Dawson Thomas Wade, Millie Ann Wade, Rhett Blaine Whittington, Kyler Baker Whittington, Haley Sue Lockery, Christopher Allen Hull, Bailey Page Fennell, Ellen Faith Young, Marion Elizabeth Young, Anna Sandra Young, Adassa Jane Kellogg, Elizabeth Grace Kellogg, Jamie Irene Troughton, Zana Maria Christensen, Rayleigh October Hayworth, Braden Neal Hayworth, Delaney Nicole Hayworth, Caden Lane Hawkins, Aziza Khalid Abdelradi Abdelnabi, Atrillo Alessandro Dedman, Nala Sienna Storm Dedman, Amari Josiah Dedman, Milana Trinity Rain Dedman, Jaden Ray Lysing, Emma Grace Lysing, Dylan Dion Thompson, Zoe Aaron Roper, Sella Angeline Hook, Jedediah James Hook, Arrow Daniel Hook, Nevaeh May Hook, Paisley Lynn Honeyman, Luke Ryan Williams, Shannon Boone Casey, Christopher Binks Casey, Carter Boyd Casey, Kristen Marie Bradley, Omar Asaya Sagredo, Mila Janice Hernandez, McKenna Dolores Hernandez, Jacqueline Rose Mosley, Samantha Jane Mosley, Kinsley Dana Thomas, Katie Ann Wallstrom, Beckett Scott Sharp, Oliver Daniel Imke, Simon Robert Imke, Xander Aloysius Sheldon, Jasper Bellamy Sheldon, Keaton Braddock Marshall, Jupiter Aurora Marshall, Isabel Gemma Betis, Levi Sebastian Betis, Daniel James Tizer, Dean Matthew Sherman, June Ann Aguilera, Rebecca Grace Patterson, Anthony Robert Davis, William Ray Murray, Bentley Alexander Bryce, Kylie Victoria Diana Bryce, Jesse Colt Wallace Jr., Jacob Austin Bailey, Judah Lemicki Bailey, Evelyn Faith Bailey, Brendan Andrew Scott Fortune, Willow Azimi Fleming, Hazel Noden Fleming, Whitney Leigh Snow, Wynn Coulter Thomas DeVille, Indy Mae James DeVille, Jason Matthew Donald Baker Jr., Ashley Ariana Mulinax, Carmelo Isaiah Mulinax, Cameron Angel Mulinax, D'Angelo Mulinax, Autumn Days Mulinax, Henry July Shadle, Rachel Lorraine Shadle, Layla Michelle Smith, Xavier Winston Smith, Ariel Starlet Marie Kessam, Kiola Makalani Lucky Hirakawa Jr.,
Way to go.
Rosalind Kiola Hirakawa, Isaiah Joseph Carmen, Caleb Stephen Carmen, Gabriel Weston Carmen, Elijah Allen Carmen, Haven Leanne Crabb, Riker Braden Crabb, Kaiser Lee Dawson, Bennett Janice Dawson, Jack Caden Griffin, Gabe Griffin, Jason Michael Grider, Brody Michael Grider, Cash Joseph Grider, Kaylee Rose Holly, Kale Abram Oji, Julian Steve Larrock, Ileana Nicole Larrock, Kason James Larrock, Christian Sean's Rod, Gavin Michael Hart, Jalen Nicole Koch, Kaylin J. Koch, Sophie Fredonia Koch, Addison Gracie Cochran, Elliot Grayson Cochran, Parker Hobson Sharples, Madeline Ann Beth Garrett, Major Drake Shoritz Garrett, Avery May Weeks, William Aloysius Barnard, Genevieve Marie Barnard, Leighton Emery Denny, Bodie Rowan Denny, Harlow Rain Demi, Wyatt Monroe Woods, Peyton Elizabeth Massey, Jackson Joab Massey, Addison Marie Massey, Ace Joseph Cahill, Bo Hudson Blankenship, Nathan Cash Dewberry, Shay Marie Stouter, Sheridan Mace Souter, Taylor Nicole Quinalty, Emerson Grace Bonner, Carolyn Shay Gregory, Daisy Leanne Gregory, Cole Michael Sherman, Owen Andrew Myers, Wesley Joseph Thornburg II, Preston Dole Thornburg, Jackson Riley Thornburg, Kayla Lynn Tilley, Timothy Caleb Tilley, Jason Dale Johnson, Kendall Ray Bowles, Andrew Thomas Larson, Austin Ray Johnson, Brooklyn Ryan Aston, Candace Diane Marie Aston, Kaylin Patricia Primasing, Liliana Rose Primasing, Aliena Janine Primasing, Rylan Ann Primasing, Elijah James Swan, Ophelia Rosa Marina Christina Jimenez, Brady Edward Bingston, Nora Rose Gillett, Maximus Ryan Gillett, Kimberlyn Grace Miller, Grayson Dean Burnham, Gunnar Eugene Carroll, Colt Wayne Carroll, Tanner Joe Wade, Marianne D. Banks, Owen Carter Reed, Gina Marie Wolf, Aletha Ann Cornwell, Llewellyn Rose Haskell, Solomon Harper Reyes, Sarah Renee Sanders, Allison Jade Sanders, Cicely Mae Burkmeyer, Audrey Larkin Burkmeyer, Paxton Gage Graham, Rylan John Kruger, Zachary Stephen Ellie Jr., Skylar Page Mounier, Cadence May Moyer, Camden Jane Carnes, Annabelle Grace Carnes, Sebastian Oliver Lawrence, Cabry Lucille Shumway, Rexton Paul Shumway, Lindley Grace Hopkins, Jensen Wesley Poe, Malachi Matthew Primasing, Penelope Violet Stewart, Denton Edward Stewart, Henry James Stewart, Cleo Elizabeth Megan Blackburn, Colby June Bennett, Inara Faith Dunn, Aiden Tyler Patrick Lewis, Heath Jared Glasscock, Octavian Joseph Dean, Daphne Elizabeth Cole, Stone Michael Cole, Noah James Broxterman, Adrian Xavier Castaneda Michael, Zane Thomas Courtney, Charlotte Joy Harper, Benjamin Todd Harper, Noah Douglas Harper, Daniel Josiah Smith, Branson Howie Quahu Blissett, Kylie Jane Stewart, Kyrie Anthony Stewart, Jasmine Cayenne Williams, Jaleesa Elizabeth Lynn Pocher, Carter James Smith, Bailey Renee Smith, Michaela Bell Trousdale, Kira Ariana Trousdale, Chloe Winter Trousdale, Valerie Christine Trousdale, Laura Renee Jolly Salisbury, Tucker Wayne Jones, Henry Lee Kern, Molly Corian Trousdale, Marin Sophia Trousdale, Christopher Ray Vance, Hallie Elizabeth Morphy, David Lawrence Morphy, Penelope Lou Amos, Naomi Rose Amos, Rylan Renee Jackson, Peyton James Jackson, Negan Marcus Holdner Comer, Aramis Rain Holder Comer, Major Evans Lacey, Kelly Lamb Stallworth, Luke Millis Farrell Milo, Matthew Ray Farrell Milo, David James Jackson, Brock Joseph Holiday, Bronson Joel Holiday, Harper Deanne Oakes, Lauren Ray Goodson, Lindsay Dawn Goodson, Riley Marie Pointer, Otto Cody Becker, Victoria Aline Weeby, Kaylee Larissa Weeby, Jalen Krista Weeby, Ethan Cole Weeby, Noah Michael Springer, Adeline Kate Springer, Jude Thomas Springer, Isla Claire Springer, Lincoln Paul York, Molly Noel York, Carolyn Grace York, Katie Lee Jimenez, Charlie Christopher Jimenez, Thomas Joel Jimenez, Joseph Peter Jimenez, Mauricio Isaiah Delgado Jr., Amelia Michelle Anderson, Mavis Irene Michelle Kitchen, Trenton Lee Story, Leonidas Quentin Hakan Cooper, Julian Daniel Warren, Vesper Francis Warren, Benjamin Bud Anderson, Eleanor May Anderson, James Daniel Anderson, Matthew John Anderson, Charlotte Ray Patterson. I'm sorry, that's Matthew John Patterson, Charlotte Ray Patterson, George J. Poe, Cooper Jet Reeves, Ryder Fox Reeves, SUNY Nicole Reeves, Mackenzie Lee Reese, Braxton Ray Duke, Atlas Michael Cheatwood, Island Michelle Grace Holloway, Vincent Joseph Davidson, Wyatt James Davidson, Zachariah Von Rapson, Luke Elliott Rapson, Isabel Rose Marlowe, Georgia Elizabeth Zediker, Zoe Marin Zediker, Sunday Pearl Zediker, Andrew Gregory Ice, Lauren Louise Ice, Olivia Ryan Brunin, Abigail Ross Brunin, Cody Edward Wyckoff, Caden Allen Wyckoff, Thomas Eugene Talty III, Cadence Marie Talty, Griffin Alexander Talty, Brianna Marie Wick, Nathaniel Kirk Richardson, Carly Nicole Thompson, Chase James Thompson, Caden Hunter Thompson, Leah Heather Ballard, Alexandra Marina Mardick, Stephan Alexander Mardick, Mosley May Coggins, Maverick Lee Coggins, Blitz Brant Van Zant, Evelyn Norella Van Zant, Zoe Brooklyn Usry, Thomas Christopher Usry, Casey Marie Usry, Caitlin Nicole Haddock, Christopher Allen Haddock, Breslin Paige Tipton, Mason Reed Penna Streifel, Jocelyn Alexandra Shapiro, Shayla Lene Halty, David Lee Wilson, Nicholas David Wilson, Travis Ryan Wilson, Holly Christine Wilson, William Richard Bailey, Brooklyn Noel Bailey, Terry Justin Smith, Teresa Jean Smith, Edward Franklin Cooley, Ellie Renee King, Zachary Allen King, Micah Aiden King, Xander Michael Hogue, Raylan K. Head, Jordan Christine Vader. Now therefore be resolved by the legislature of the Sisseton Potawatomi Nation that a resolution enrolling the above named persons as members of the Sisseton Potawatomi Nation who have, by virtue of the written request for enrollment, agreed to the obligations of such membership and consented to the authority and jurisdiction of the government of the Sisseton Potawatomi Nation and are now entitled to all benefits and privileges of the citizenship in the Sisseton Potawatomi Nation as described by law and tribal custom is hereby approved.
We had a 68-year-old in there, didn't we? Any discussion? Chair with it? Yes.
I'd like to say this is part of the 500 that Chuck had on his desk at the end of the year that was trying to enroll to get the funds, the CARES funds. And so these people didn't get any CARES funds, those that were enrolled, the ones we are enrolling now, but they got a better prize, they got enrolled. And probably parents and grandparents have been wanting this done for years and years and just have been delaying. So even though they didn't get money, they got a benefit of being enrolled.
Vice Chairman, do we know what that brings our population to at this date?
36,000, just a little over 36,000. I'll send that to everybody tomorrow because I have the breakdown of how many people we have over 18, how many people we have under 17, and then how many we have total. I'll send it to you
I
tomorrow.
was looking here, there's a lot that just 13 on 14 and 12, and there's a bunch of kids.
The Noah James Brocksterman that was enrolled is the son of Mark James Brocksterman that was killed in the explosion at the federal building in Oklahoma City.
Excuse me, the grandson of Paul Brocksterman that was killed.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's the grandson of Paul Brocksterman. Yeah, not the son, the grandson. Because Mark James was his son.
Yes.
We have a memorial to him over on the grounds over there.
Chairman?
Yes.
I'd like to make a comment back to David's comment about the number of youth in the tribe. I had a conversation a few months with the treasurer at the Prairie Band Tribal Council, and their enrollment is now diminished to below 4,500. And of that 4,500, only 300 at that time, only 376 were 17 and under. And that is the future of their tribe.
Oh, my.
Wow. Well, when the Hirakawas meet the Abdel Nabis, it's all going to be Potawatomi. Any discussion? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. So Dave Carney is made the motion. Dave Barrett seconded.
Second, I think.
Yeah. Dave Barrett seconded. All roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Honegay.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Honegay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale Konigay, Representative Eve Marie Carney, Representative Whistler,
Okay.
Representative Bursall,
Konigay,
Representative Lambert,
Konigay.
Representative Payne,
Konigay.
Representative Johnson,
Honegay.
Representative Dave Carney,
Konigay.
Representative Wesselhoft,
Konigay.
Representative Barrett,
Okay.
Representative Walters,
Konigay.
Representative Spindlecoffer,
Konigay.
Representative Bowden,
Konigay.
15 in favor, 0 opposed.
10 in favor, 0 opposed. It is approved. Next and last is 2140 HHS. You read that into the record, please.
Resolution 21-40-HHS. A resolution supporting an increase in funding for the Citizen Potawatomi Nation Sanitation Facilities Construction Program, Public Law 86-121, for new, renovated, and like new homes offered to the United States Indian Health Service. First whereas, the same as read in previous resolution. The fourth whereas, the Citizen Potawatomi Nation is submitting a project scope entitled Citizen Potawatomi Nation and wastewater facilities for new and like new homes in scattered locations to the United States Indian Health Services, IHS, under the Office of Environmental Health Sanitation Facilities Construction Branch, under the authority of Public Law 86-121 for the construction of sanitation facilities. And whereas the IHS will provide the funds and the Citizen Potawatomi Nation will design and construct the facilities under the provision of self-governance compact that became effective in fiscal year 1998. The total cost to IHS for providing sanitation facilities to 38 eligible homes is $750,000. And whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation fully supports the entire project for the construction of sanitation facilities as provided by the provisions of its self-governance compact with IHS/DHHS that became effective in fiscal year 1998, and the multi-year funding agreement 2018 through 2022 with the IHS/DHHS executed by these parties and effective in April 2018 in connection with said compact. Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution supporting an increase in funding offered by the Indian Health Services for the Citizen Potawatomi Nation Sanitation Facilities Construction Program under Public Law 86-121 for new, renovated, and like new homes in scattered location is hereby approved. Now therefore be it further resolved that by act of this resolution and consistent with the separation of powers defined in the Constitution, if awarded, an appropriation of $750,000 from the Office of Environmental Health or other applicable accounts for the implementation, negotiation, operation, enforcement, procurement, settlement, and or completion of this contract, compact, regulation, or agreement by the private chairman or his designate is hereby authorized.
Any additions, deletions, corrections, or discussion? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. Motion made by Representative Whistler. Second. Representative Bowden. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Honegay.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Honegay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale Konigay, Representative Eva Marie Carney, Representative Whistler,
Okay.
Representative Bursaw,
Conagay,
Representative Lambert,
Conagay,
Representative Payne,
Conagay.
Representative Johnson, Representative Dave Carney,
Konega,
Representative Wesselhoff,
Conagay.
Representative Barrett,
Conagay.
Representative Walters,
Conagay.
Representative Spillcoffer,
Conagay.
Representative Bowden,
Konagay.
15 in favor, 0 opposed.
In favor, 0 opposed, it is approved. Is there any other business before the legislature?
Yes, sir. I have two items I'd like to bring to your attention. One, I'd like to pitch a resolution, maybe for the next legislature. Our Potawatomi language is important to all of us, and we know that. And fewer people are learning that language. So in order for it not to suffer demise, I would encourage us in our scholarships, if a student enrolls in the Potawatomi language, and there are 3 courses offered online, Justin Neely is involved in that. I think there's 2 beginning and 1 intermediate. If a student should enroll in a Potawatomi language course, I would recommend as an incentive that we pay a scholarship, maybe $500 to encourage them to take our language. I think that will ensure that our language will preserve. Something to think about. If you like that, I'd like to see that in a resolution. That's number 1. I got another item, but
Any comments?
After the completion of the course, to the beginning to the end, I'd support that.
maybe if the grade is just a passing grade, C, and they don't have to
Whatever, yeah.
They don't have to make it, they don't have to make it A in it.
Okay, well, with,
Have to look at funds for that.
we didn't see where the money's gonna come from. We'll figure, we'll look at that. What's the next one?
The next one, just for your information, I created a Facebook group called Potawatomi Artists Plural. And I just started it like 3 days ago, and there are 300 members already. And people are posting their artwork. There's all kinds of regalia on there. There's paintings, music videos, all kinds of art. So I encourage you to check out that Facebook site.
I did.
Good. And your son's a member, Justin Neely's a member, Charles Enrollment's a member. So a lot of people are joining it and sharing their artworks, as well as poetry and other, it's a great variety.
That's why I'm appointing you to the Arts and Culture Committee.
I wasn't pitching for that, but thank you.
David, I need you on the education. Please.
Anyway, back to this Facebook site, Potawatomi Artists. It's for all Potawatomis. So we're getting memberships from other tribes in the Potawatomi, other branches. So it's not just for Citizen Potawatomi, it's for all Potawatomi artists. So it's a national site, and I encourage you to look at it. Your son put some of his woodwork photos on there. And one other thing, I don't want to be over commercialized, so I've restricted commercials or advertising to Saturday. I call it Shop Saturday. On Saturday, people can actually put, what if they're vendors or they're selling their regalia or whatever. Matter of fact, I bought shirts tonight from that site, from ISA. Easy, I'm sorry, I mispronounced her name. She's making me a shirt because I saw a photo of one there that I really liked. So anyway, the artists can also advertise their wares each Saturday, but that's the only day that we have advertisements.
Great. Any other, Jean?
I think it's an awesome idea, and I'm excited, to hear that you've had so many jump on the bandwagon all of a sudden. I am curious so as to how you're going to protect it, that they're only Potawatomis. How are you going to identify that? Because in the other sites that you go on and they say Potawatomi, and next thing you know, everyone in their, their dog is registered on there.
Gene, on the site, when you apply, it asks if you're a Potawatomi member. So it's a matter of, taking their word for it. But I don't think that I've also said that you can either share your art or just appreciate art. You don't have to be an artist to be a member. If you love art, that's a good place to see Potawatomi art and learn about our culture. So I don't know that I would restrict a family member of a Potawatomi. If one of them is Potawatomi and the spouse isn't, I don't know why I would want to restrict that spouse member just because they're not Potawatomi. But it's something to think about. There are going to be some people on there probably that are mixed tribes. But the main thing is to share the art and our culture.
Any other commentary? Chairman, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion made by Representative Schmidl-Coffer. Is there a second?
Second.
You've had too many, you guys.
Don't twist my arm.
Representative Lambert, you seconded that adjournment, right? Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett,
Okay.
Vice Chairman Capps,
Konigay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, Konigay, Representative Eve Marie Carney, Representative Whistler,
Okay.
Representative Bursall,
Conagay,
Representative Lambert,
Konigay.
Representative Payne,
Konigay.
Representative Johnson,
Konigay.
Representative Dave Carney,
Okay.
Representative Wesselhoft,
Okay.
Representative Barrett,
Conagay.
Representative Walters,
Conagay.
Representative Schmidl-Coffer,
Konigay.
Representative Bowden,
Konigay.
15 in favor, 0 opposed.
15 in favor, 0 opposed. We are adjourned.
Congratulations.
There's food back here, by the way.